But no, you could tell they were thinking about it, you could tell there was a thought process going on in their mind, and it's going to be the Kestrel locked in. It's going to be Gwen and Lance responded here. Does this make Taka harder for Team Phoenix, or are they just going to lock that in?
I actually like the Taka here a lot more. Last time they went with the Celeste, but as soon as I see Gwen, I thought, like, you know, Taka has worked well in the past into this pick. It gives them a lot more flexibility, and it's not predictable. The thing that makes Armada so strong with this Taka is you don't know where he is. Celeste is not that mobile.
You also have to consider that Gwen, using her buckshot, she can reveal the Taka, but so far we've seen Mango, he's been very... Oh, Petal!
Right when it comes down to it, TSM lock in the Petal. It's had mixed success here at the World Championships. But guys, can we get some noise? This could be the final game.
No Avalanche.
Let me just say, some of the worst Taka games I've ever had have been when there is a Petal on the other team. These Munions will chase you down when you go into your stealth if they've already been targeted onto you. It can be incredibly difficult to deal with here. Mango is going to have to be elusive, use the element of surprise, and when they go in to engage, they're going to have to absolutely burst one of these targets down.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you know, it's something which we've seen talked about, or rather heard talked about, as a counter to Kestrel, but we've seen so little of, even though Kestrel has been doing so well at Worlds. Now, I find that quite interesting. Maybe they just wanted to save it for when it really mattered. It matters a lot right now as Team SoloMid think about going in for an early jungle trade. Mango actually moving aggressively onto Vainglory. Flash, he's going to have that impale up in 4 seconds. 2 for the Githian wall. Mango's got to be careful, but here comes Druid with the rotate. Flash, maybe he just wants to try and pick up the kill by himself. He wants that first blood, but a great Kaiten out of Mango. Things not looking good in this fight for Team SoloMid. 2 kills to kick off this game for Phoenix Armada.
Yeah, that just was not the engage that they were looking for. I like the aggression out of TSM, but if you're going to let the Taka get onto the Petal without doing enough damage right there, that's exactly what Taka wants to do. You want the Munions in front of you. You want the Petal always at range, and that's just not what happened there.
Look at this. That fight was all the way on the side of Phoenix's jungle. They go all the way for the back camps of Team SoloMid. Is this going to bite them as Best Chuck rotates down, pops that potion? He needs some energy. Vainglory is looking to get in there, but he just can't do enough yet. Trampling forward, he's finding some good damage onto Druid. Are those Munions going to hunt him down? Active camo. They'll hunt the Kestrel just like they'll hunt the Taka. Look at this. Vainglory nearly picks up the kill. Mango's low. Willie's low. Mango, he's going to need to do some incredible jukes here with Akaku. He's got 5 seconds to wait. Kaiten buys some time into the bush, into the other bush, but it's revealed by Best Chuck. There's the Kaku. He's just waiting around flare in the middle. Look at this TSM. They play on all sides to try and get him there. Can't get away. That's Team SoloMid finding one more kill. Druid does need to be a little bit careful about trying to go for a trade here. Flash, if he finds the impale, could be followed up. Best Chuck wants some damage. That's the Githian wall too. Druid is going to be forced back to the turret. A lot of action in this critical game.
A lot of action indeed. And that's exactly what Petal wants. If your opponents realize that they need to run away, it is not going to happen here. Your Munions are going to be constantly attacking. You can trampoline forward. Petal is a very mobile hero, and I think often underestimated in those types of situations. But you saw they could chase, and it's so hard to get away from them.
All right, let's talk about builds real quick. Vainglory is going Crystal Petal. This is the more traditional build. I know.
I was going to die if I saw a weapon Petal.
You said you were not going to be happy. Don't worry, we're all good. No tilt for the finals. Druid and Mango both have some weapon power so far. We've also got that banner on Mango. Looks like he's going for the same kind of thing we've seen the past couple of times he's done it.
No surprise there.
Is this going to be especially effective because you want to kill the Munions quick? Oh, hang on a second. That's a 2-man. Root Flash. Does he have a good Githian wall here? Not quite yet, but Druid is still going to go down. Vainglory's Munions just attack so quick right now. They just rip through him.
I just can't get over this. Like, when your tournament life is on the line and the Petal comes out here, this is just so wonderful. I love the confidence that's coming out of Team SoloMid with this pick. It's just such a beautiful thing. They've done a great job. I'm really curious to see if Vainglory does go for a Frostburn to start things off here, if he gets into a Shatterglass. I think there's a case to be said for both. I think Frostburn would be really good for his team.
I think Frostburn first in this game, in the grand finals,
Repeat that, please?
would be the right decision. We'll see if he decides to go for it. Of course, the reason why it's so strong on a Petal, and maybe not other things, is the fact that those Munions apply it and they attack so rapidly, you're basically just constantly slowing someone. The percentage matters a little bit less when they never have an opportunity to get away.
Yeah, and it feeds into that idea that we were talking about before. It's like, once your opponents realize that they need to get out of the fight, Petal's so good at chasing, the Frostburn just feeds into that whole aspect.
Absolutely. Right now, Vainglory doing quite good this game, 2 for 1 with around 30 farm. Team SoloMid as a whole, about 1,000 gold in the lead. Willie and Druid trying to harass BestChuck as much as possible, maybe mitigate some of that lead in the lane. Vainglory has something to say about that.
Level
Moving
6.
forward onto Willie. He's not going to land from Flash, though. Willie should be able to back away.
Yeah, Willie doing a good job to get out of there. And this is Mango in his own jungle doing a pretty good job securing up. That's a pretty full rotation unless the mid's going to get stolen away. It will be contested.
Flash and Vainglory might be able to pick this one up. The Impale actually lands onto Mango, and Vainglory uses one of his spontaneous combustion charges to lock in that camp. Druid was
Smart
waiting.
call, Vainglory.
Vainglory, don't do it.
That's not your bush.
Don't do it. Don't go in the bush. He's gonna get stuck up. Druid wants the fight. Flash X, thankfully, is able to give Vainglory a little bit of space there. He's able to back away. That was close, Humorous. It was very close.
You can see Vainglory, he wanted to just face check it right away, but hey, he is adapting to this game. That's exactly what it needs to do. Fountain comes out for the Lance, Frostburn completed for the Petal. These are some really nice power spikes. When you're playing this Petal, there's a couple of the early game power spikes you're looking for. If you do decide to go for this Frostburn route, huge item pickup for you. Also hitting the level 6, spontaneous combustion. For you guys that don't see too much Petal, this is healing your team and dealing damage to your enemies. It is such a versatile tool.
It really can create massive swings in a team fight, and a big part of why that's strong isn't just because it's a swing, but because your opponents don't necessarily expect it, especially now on the updated Petal, where you do each one of your spontaneous combustions individually.
Right.
You can really mess with their timings by actually having a good understanding of when to use it. Right now, though, both teams have maybe been a little bit deterred from fighting after the last couple of exchanges. They were very back and forth. They're both playing much safer than they were right as we kicked this game off.
You can see what this Petal has done to Mango. His aggression is just absolutely gone. There's nothing that he can do here unless he jumps from full surprise. If TSM have any idea where this talk is approaching from, all they have to do is sick the munions on him, and he has to retreat.
Absolutely. Items that have now been completed since we last talked are, of course, those Sorrow Blades across the board for BestChuck and Druid. Mango, he's got a Storm Crown now. Where would you go endgame as a build from Mango here? Because we've seen, again, a few things. We've seen, like, the Aftershock. We've seen a lot of proc damage coming out of him. Is that still the right plan? Do you just want to jump in and, like, burst the Petal?
I want to see a Shatterglass out of him this game. I really want to see huge, massive burst. I want to see him get on top of Vainglory, apply that Mortal Wound, and just go to town. I don't know if that's the route he's going to go. It looks like it's not, but I'm sure this will be just fine for Mango. Obviously, phenomenal player.
Yeah, it does look like he's actually thinking about the Aftershock. Something I've noticed is that Mango's Taka play is like the whole hit and run thing to an extreme that we sometimes do not see. BestChuck, hang on. That's a lot of damage. He's got to back away a little bit. It's hit and run to an extreme we do not normally see. He'll go into the next red suit just to apply the bleed, peace out for a bit, and come back later.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. The hit and run, it often works for Taka, but this is Petal. If you go in, Petal just has to send the buttons on.
He's getting rooted. That's the aces high. He had no chance to get out of there. Phoenix Armada, their face check and pushes just like Team SoloMid was doing earlier. Mango trying to get the poke down. He doesn't expect the damage, though. That's going to be another 2 for Team SoloMid. They find the turret as well. BestChuck playing with fire there. There's a one shot. No.
Not quite, but of course, Druid pretty close on that one. Tier 1 turret's going to go down here, Jackson. We're approaching 9 minutes into this game. Only 6 kills across the board. A small net worth lead going the way of Team SoloMid, but it's pretty safe to say they're in control of this game right now.
You know, I wonder if saving the Petal for the grand finals was some master plan because they knew Casper was popular, and they were like, we're really good, we're going to be able to deal with it up until this point. And then when we really can't anymore and no one expects it, we've had this planned all along. Well, this is how we're going to deal with Kestrel.
It's a double win for them. She's good into the Kestrel, but she's also amazing into the Taka. This is just a double win.
Absolutely is. That's going to be the breaking point for Druid. He's expecting these longer fights. We've seen a variety of builds out of our Kestrels at the tournament so far. Some Crystal, some with the Critical Strike build with the Tyrant's Monocle, some with his Breaking Point. Do you think Breaking Point is the correct avenue in this game?
I think Breaking Point will be okay, especially when you have this Lance that wants to constantly frontline for his team. You can just stack up, switch to one of the key targets, and if you can be in communication with your Taka, that's how you're going to get your first damage.
Mango eating that scout trap. One shot, one kill.
Whoa,
Nearly
that was
takes
close.
that down. Flash X with a nice Githian wall to back him off. Active camo. Von C knows it's there. He's taking a decent amount of poke. Here comes the gauntlet. Mango really wants Von C right now, but there's the fountain. Team SoloMid, they regenerate up a little bit, back off. Phoenix Armada can't find the fight they were looking for.
Yeah, Von C almost making a mistake, getting in there a little too aggressively. Of course, not completely punished for it. But right now, Phoenix know that that fountain is on cooldown. So if they want to get aggressive, try to make a play. This is a great opportunity.
It is indeed, and speaking of opportunities, Druid has picked up a weapon infusion around 10.5 minutes into the game. If he pops it now, it's only as effective as level 8 allows it to be, but it could be the power spike they need to upset a fight.
It definitely could be, and I like this. I like this a lot. You know, one of the players we see doing this almost more than anyone, of course, in the NA scene, Zio. And he helps. It helps us when you're ahead. It'll help you snowball. When you're behind and things aren't going your way, it'll help you stall out that aggression, get yourself right back into the game. I think it's a really nice item that you can just pick up, hold on to, and if the moment calls for it, you pop that infusion.
All right, speaking of other power spikes, Willie, during that discussion, picked up a Crucible, Mango, and Aftershock. So they do have a lot more power behind them itemization-wise than they had in the previous engagement. And actually, they came quite close to bursting down Von C. This time, maybe they have that damage if they find the opportunity. Von C hasn't exactly itemized further defensively.
Well, Von C was about a mile away from his team. That shouldn't have been the case. But yeah, they almost did take him down. And this will be a tool to help.
Von C is going to be taking that push, does eat only a little bit of damage though as Mango takes the majority of it. That forces the fountain out of Willie. Look at Mango's health, just barely getting away by the skin of his teeth there. TSM might think about committing for this. Druid does get impaled, the reflex block not enough. All there as
They
well.
still have their own
Ace
fountain.
high. That's the power of the Gwen. The ultimate follow-up stun. Team SoloMid find a pick and a turret.
Yeah, Team SoloMid, this is a beautiful performance out of them thus far.
Gauntlet does land on the best Chuck.
That was a gauntlet.
That was a gauntlet.
That was a gauntlet. That's going to be on cooldown for a while, and TSM have to know that they can just apply more pressure across the map now. This is a major tool for Phoenix that really feels kind of wasted there. I don't think there was a major reason to pull that out there, but Von C, he's done a great job. Now, we talked about the infusion. Druid did pop his own infusion, but Best Chuck, who is ahead in this game, has his own infusion.
He does indeed, and I believe he picked that one up earlier on as well, so he didn't feel the need to pop it, and that's a good amount of discipline coming out of him, not just to automatically do it. It means he can save it for now, which is when he pops it. Von C, he picked up a Broken Myth. Team SoloMid looking incredibly strong this game. It does seem like a very back-and-forth, blow-for-blow series between these teams, but Team SoloMid right now, they've never had as much reason to play well. They're one loss away from being eliminated from the World Championship. They do not want to go home.
Yeah, and especially, you know, Flash, on his video, he said Team SoloMid are going to be the champions, right? There was no hesitation in that statement from him. To be down in this series, I'm sure he's absolutely working his hardest here to pull his team back into the series, and they're doing a great job thus far.
Oh, Mango. Gotta be careful about getting caught out here. That is the active camera stun on Von C, though. Some good damage. Mango finds the execute. Best Chuck, he's kiting backwards. Aces high blocked by Druid. Flash with a good Githian, but Best Chuck just needs to leave. That's the skedaddle popped. He's trying to get away here. Willie does not have Gauntlet still after that engagement earlier on. Does allow Team SoloMid to manage their losses from that fight.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Exactly what Phoenix needs to do. They want to burst pedal down immediately at the beginning of the fight. That's how you're going to do it. You don't let Von C get onto you with the munions, start to just chase you down, be annoying, get all that work in. Von C, he walked into that active camo. He's on 50% health. That's the easiest call of Mango's life, to just jump in and delete him out of the game.
Druid now has his Aegis, and that's going to be massive too, because Von C is doing so much crystal damage right now. Druid definitely wants to be able to deal with that. He wants to be able to pop into his active camo and not just die to munions. Normally, when you pop an active camo, you get that breather.
Right.
Against the pedal, sometimes you're not going to. So I like the fact that he's itemizing the shield quite early on. Best Chuck, of course, still going to be doing good damage to him, however. We've got Kraken coming up in a minute. Team SoloMid, they've got advantage on the map. Can they force one to really start putting the pressure on Phoenix's base?
Well, I don't think forcing the fight is what they really want to do here. They have an advantage. I think just take the fight on your terms, continuously apply pressure. You're in control right now. And if anything, they can just chip on this turret a little bit, wait for them to dive you.
That's some nice damage with the one-shot, one-kill onto Von C. You saw Willie actually pop his boots cooldown just because he was being attacked by Munions, and the Frostburn, with as much crystal power as Vainglory has right now, is slowing him so much. They do know what's going on. Phoenix know where Team SoloMid are, so if they wanted to go in, they could. They're choosing not to for the time being.
It's like between the Frostburn and the Buckshot coming out of this Gwen, there is so much slow. Phoenix, if they are seen at all, it's like they're moving through maple syrup. Shout out to Forecourt Jester on that one. It's really tough though, and so the element of surprise is everything. They need to strike just all at once. If they can do so, they will be able to take this.
Well, Team SoloMid all at once going to be starting up the Kraken is the reaction here that Phoenix Armada needs. Already Kraken taking a decent amount of his health, but Willie making his way. Flash not land that impale. Gotta watch out for that Ace's High here. Best Chuck can throw it from so far away. Can really catch you out. Here it goes on to Willie.
Oh,
that's not the best target though. Druid, he's trying to kite backwards. The fountain has been popped. Mango does some good damage. He's going for that hit and run. Backing off right now. Druid is impaled though. Flash hits it. Druid, he goes down. Mango cannot get away. Team SoloMid, with their backs against their wall, are finding the strength to carry on in the grand finals.
Finding the strength that they had all along. What a wonderful fight for Team SoloMid. They did exactly what they needed to do here. And you see Phoenix, they feel like they need to make a play, but that Ace's High canceling off the gauntlet. Willie trying to frontline for his team, throws at that fountain, but gets shot down. They try to focus on the Mango, but quickly switch back to Willie. That impale very nicely holding Druid in place. A double kill for Best Chuck, who had, at the end of this fight, I think, 20 stacks on that breaking point. Just so much damage.
Honestly, right now, the carries from Team SoloMid are close to untouchable. And it's really difficult when you have a Taka to do anything in that situation. You need to be able to get onto the backline. Kraken goes away of Team SoloMid.
Well, like, even if you get onto the backline, Vainglory's doing such a good job hanging out right where Flash is on this lance that Vainglory's waiting. He's holding this trampoline, and Flash can just get the end wall, and then Vainglory trampolines into a better position, and they're doing this rinse and repeat over and over again. It's working incredibly well.
Alright, we do have a Tyrant's Monocle now for Druid. He's got an Infusion too. Phoenix Armada are gearing up for what could be the last stand for them in this game. In their base, the Kraken is making his way down the lane. Team SoloMid, how do they need to play this fight to take home the victory?
Well, you're going to have to wait until Vainglory allows himself to get in position to engage.
Oh, that's a good gauntlet. Does connect, but Best Chuck has the skedaddle. This time not going to land. See, Team SoloMid have been forced backwards, at least for the time being. Phoenix just trying to deal with the Kraken too. The problem is it's still very healthy. Druid doing a lot of damage on the backline. Mango jumping in. He finds the first kill. Best Chuck gotta be the next target here for the Kraken. You gotta pick one. You gotta stop the base from falling. Flash and Best Chuck want a little bit more though. That's the block. It comes through. Best Chuck goes down. It is going to be a defense from Phoenix Armada unless Flash can somehow take down the Vein Crystal. He doesn't even want to try it. I do not blame him.
He's pulling
with
a Willie
everything
here.
on the line. Team SoloMid back away after killing every single turret on Phoenix's side of the map.
Yeah, TSM, a successful push here. They've done a great job. But Phoenix, how did they find that kill? It was Vainglory revealing himself in the front of that fight. He took a glimmer shot, maybe 2 glimmer shots. Once that happens, it's very easy for Mango to get in there and find that kill. As far as the positioning in these fights, I would much rather have Best Chuck slightly ahead and Vainglory right behind him. But these guys are doing a great job.
They are, and now with the advantage they've accrued, Team SoloMid only need to push into the base and maybe find 1 kill to actually end this game. The onus is really on Phoenix right now to put up an incredible defense if they want to win this World Championship this game. They need great vision for a start.
Look at the vision. Talk about the vision.
Scout traps picked up by Willie on his return home. I don't blame him.
I criticized Flash in the earlier matches for not having enough vision across the map. He's like, you want vision? You're going to get some vision.
Yeah, and Flash actually picking up the contraption this time, plus 5 flares. He's got a lot of ability to make sure that Phoenix don't do anything sneaky, perhaps with the stealth coming out of the Taka and the Kestrel. TSM, when is their next opportunity? Would you like them to wait all the way to Kraken, or would you like them to sort of poke the defenses of Phoenix, see if they can maybe just get in there right now?
I think there's no reason to force it, but if the opportunity presents itself, you take it, you end the game. Otherwise, you just hang out, make sure that you do have this vision in and around that Kraken pit. I mean, it's GG if Kraken gets taken with this composition, the way they're playing it right now. There's no reason to actually force the fight.
All right, well, you can see Willie acting as a bit of a scout trap for his team on the front line, spots out the push from Team SoloMid. They're definitely thinking, can we just run in here? Can we sacrifice maybe 1 person, pick up the Vein Crystal? Emotions have to be running high in this moment as they look at elimination from Worlds if they lose this game. Phoenix now actually in pursuit, thinking maybe we can pick off a straggler. Team SoloMid, thankfully for them, they are able to back away.
This is what I feel like TSM want to bait Phoenix into doing, and the re-goose is what Team SoloMid want to do.
Oh, here comes Team SoloMid. They think they smell blood. That's going to be the stun on the Willy. Mango on the back line, though, trying to find Von C. Fountain popped by Flash. Is it going to be enough? No. Von C, he goes down. Best Chuck still healthy, but here comes Mango. Yet again, he finds the kill. Phoenix, they're making a comeback right now, Humanist. They find 2. They can't go for Flash, but maybe they can push down this turret.
It was really nicely done by Phoenix. That's exactly what they needed to do. Flash was going to be able to find the kill here. Dangerous situation.
Oh, Druid. Watch yourself, buddy. The Impale picks up the kill. Mango actually stunned into the wall, too. Flash looking for more. The turret canon's pretty big. Githian wall doesn't find the stun, but Flash still wants more Mango right now. The fruit bar here on the fold. Mango trying to get out. He does manage to make it, just barely. Flash should not be able to chase this too much further.
Did Flash realize he's not a carry in that moment there?
Mango tried to back it. Yeah, I mean, I think Flash, props for that. A big thing that I think Druid might have made a mistake about is timing it so that he died 15 seconds away from Willy. What happens if Team SoloMid just rush Kraken right now?
Well, that's probably what they're going to do. I want to talk about the Shatter Glass, though, Jackson. The Shatter coming out on Flash means that the disables are going to be immense when he lands any of these abilities onto Phoenix, and this is exactly what his team needs. The Gwen and, of course, this Petal are going to be able to take advantage of this.
All right, Flash prematurely going for that Impale, wants to make sure that there's no way Phoenix can steal this Kraken. They're going for the slow into Willy. Von C just annihilating him. We do have Druid back, and Von C jumps right into the fight. So much burst damage coming out from Druid. Mango, he wants back in. He kitens over. Von C stunned in the gauntlet. It's going to be a kill for Phoenix. They find Best Jump too. Phoenix, they want this championship, Humanist. They're going to take the ace against Team SoloMid. What a comeback so far. They still got to end it, though.
Jackson, there's a lot of action here, man. TSM, they really forced that fight. Von C jumping into the gauntlet wall, I'm not sure that's exactly what he wanted to do. Maybe he thought it was going to time out, maybe a bit of a misplay here. You see TSM, they feel like they can get in there. With the Aces High missing, Von C jumps right in. Now he's out. He's going to go right back in here, activating his ult right into gauntlet wall, stunned up. That's a very easy kill. Now Mango's onto the back lines. He doesn't die, and it's just Druid hammering away the whole time. You know, we talked about Best Chuck with how many breaking point stacks at the end of the last fight. It was the opposite here.
Kraken has been unleashed now for Phoenix Armada. Just moments ago, it feels like they were in their base defending what could have been a game-ending push, and they're making the comeback. If they win like this in their final game, they're going to deserve, and they deserve anyway, being immortalized at the TCL Chinese Theater in those 3D prints that they were talking about at the desk.
Such tense moments right now as Phoenix completely turned this game around, and it's TSM that have to make the tough choices in this moment.
They do indeed, but they have turrets to work with. They have time to work with, and a lot of damage to objectives with Petal just crushing through that with the amount of CG those Munions are dishing out. Mango getting every advantage he can. Actually, Gauntlet does land, even though the knockback comes through. Best Chuck gonna be the main target. They really want him right now. But he makes it to the Sanctuary. 3 people knocked back. Team SoloMid, they're turning the fight around. Druid finds a stun, but they can't do it. Phoenix needs to run right now. It's so dangerous to go back in, but Mango's trying to buy time for the Kraken. He finds some damage on the Bunty. He's stunned at the wall.
Goes down.
Team SoloMid, they can take this game home. They're going to go 2-3 and keep their hopes alive yet again.
Well, you're hearing the crowd fired up right now. This was a moment that TSM almost could have lost this game when they had the advantage the entire time. They make a very nice defense. Best Chuck manages to just live on a sliver of life, getting to that healing platform. GG, Team SoloMid. And what a game.
Honestly, that was one of the craziest games I think I have ever seen.